It's a pleasure this morning to welcome Mr. Kevin Merrick, our VIP guest for the morning. And now it's important to say that if you are either an existing visual merchandising expert in a business, or you are considering a career in visual merchandising, this is a must listen to podcast. You will learn about how to manage an exciting career. Hello, everybody. This is Michael in France, and today I'm very pleased to say I've got a really important guest for us, and his name is Kevin Merrick, and shortly he'll introduce himself. But Kevin is in Dubai at the moment, but he's en route to Istanbul, just endorsing some of the themes that might come out in this visual merchandising chat that we're going to have. And we're being managed, if you like, with our studio experts in Bangalore in India. So from France to Dubai and Istanbul on to Bangalore, I welcome you to this visual merchandising podcast. Kevin, hi. Thank you very much for giving us your time today. It's really nice to see you again. I guess that you and I have known each other for about 16 years, so maybe 15 years. Yeah, it's been quite a long stretch, and during that time, I know that you've done many exciting things, and even before I knew you, you were doing many exciting things. So I know that you're now in Dubai, but what are you doing with yourself? And tell us a little bit about this nomadic but very progressive visual merchandising career that you've had.
Well, hi, Michael, and hi to everybody else out there. Thank you for this invitation. I think it'll be a fun. As you mentioned, I'm currently in Dubai, sharing my time between the Emirates and Turkey, which is for most of the time home Turkey now, even though I'm a Brit. Yes.
There's a story in here, isn't there? So
I think this will be quite a bit of the story as to how I actually got here. And there's a few of us around the world that have been on this journey. Maybe not as many countries as myself. I have done. This is my 7th country to live in.
Wow.
And within those 7 countries, I've looked after or been involved with around about 40 different brands.
Wow.
Which sounds a lot and is a lot. But a big chunk of that is via the franchise world.
Okay. Oh, that's 7 countries. I wonder if there is anybody listening who can beat that. 7 countries, 40 brands. Take us back to.
I do know one person who's on 8.
Is that right?
Briefly a former colleague. He's on number 8 at the moment. Yeah.
Right. Okay. All right. Well, I'll have to add mine up after the discussion. But how did it all start for you, Kevin? Because I know that you've progressed to some very senior roles in some very exciting jobs, and you've amplified your remit to cover not just visual merchandising, but visual merchandising is the core. But when you started, if I remember, it wasn't even called visual merchandising.
No, that shows my age, doesn't it? I guess I'm a career VM within visual merchandising. I've also done marketing, store concepts, international operations. I have gone from being a trainee on the shop floor, in fact, a Christmas temp. Started as a Christmas temp, and I've done every visual step to global vice president of one of the large sporting retailers, which again we'll touch on in a bit. Yeah, so to show my age, when I started, visual merchandising was not in the UK, which is where I'm from, as I mentioned. It was display. We were part of the display team, and in those days it was department store. So department store retailing, which is a good footing for anybody. In a department store, you have men's, women's, kids, accessories, cosmetics, sport, homewares, a full raft of products and merchandise. Being figures, sales, sell-throughs, speed of sale, being more focused on the lifespan of different categories. So whether it's fast fashion at maybe 6 to 8 weeks, fashion at 8 to 12 weeks, core at 26, commodity at 51 weeks. We were much more driven into the sales, how to sell the product, how to make sure the product was looking fresh. I did trainee and VM there, and then with that same company, I went to the second largest store as assistant VM manager, and then I moved to a third store as VM manager. I actually moved my area manager, operations area manager, became COO of another department store retailer, and he took 2 people with him. Myself, I went in as area VM, and one of our store managers. I mean, this guy looked after 30 stores and God knows how many people. He took 2 of us, which is a good feeling at that time.
Yeah. Where did you go then?
I went back to Manchester. So I'm originally from Manchester. I worked in Edinburgh, Glasgow, and Southport, which is near Liverpool.
And if I remember, you come from the blue side of Manchester, is that right?
Yes.
Not like me. I come from the red side of Manchester.
Yeah, that's because you're not from Manchester, Michael.
Well, I did live there, Kevin. I did live there as a child.
Yes, from the blue side. So yeah, back into Manchester, but I didn't live in Manchester at that time. I lived outside. So quite a long commute. So from there, area manager to head office project manager. There was a small head office team of about 8 of us in the head office. And I was one of the last people out of the door, switching the lights off, helping to switch the lights off when the transition happened.
So at this point, then, rather than growing and opening stores, you were closing stores. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So I've done, many openings. Don't know how many openings, and closures of stores and closures of brands. And we'll touch on later also the launch with new brands. So yeah, quite a bit of experience in there. But that then became my first international role after that. And for anybody out there, I think if you've got the desire, if you want to see something and try something new, to quote Nike, just do it.
Yeah, nice.
Don't wait.
Very nice.
Don't think about it. Do it. Find that opportunity and have a go.
So your first international jump was to where then?
Was to Turkey, was to Istanbul. I was head of EM for what is now by far the largest ready-to-wear retailer in the country. At the time I joined, we only had about 20 stores, but we had around 500-600 franchise stores. Now the brand is fully owned by and franchise only where they have to, for example, the Middle East.
Yeah.
But within Turkey and with wherever they are, they try and do own by now. Very aggressive brand, as in very driven, not aggressive to work for, but a very driven brand, a very forward-thinking brand. Again, a good learning curve. Turkish business language, so don't be afraid of languages, guys. If you're going somewhere, there's always a solution.
So you had not a word of Turkish, but you went from Manchester to Turkey, and you were leading people?
Yes, I had a team of 10, 11, I think, at the time.
Right. Chapeau.
Yeah, all Turks. And at that time, English, at that time in Turkey, English was the third language. German was the second language.
Oh, okay, interesting.
So anybody that could speak another language was more often than not German.
But today, of course, I guess for those listening, wherever they may choose to go, if they wish to emulate your nomadic career, English is much more prevalent around the world than it was. So
yes, I mean the internet, because English is now the internet language, it has now very much become the world's language.
Yeah.
Which for Brits listening is an asset. Doesn't mean we have to be lazy about learning new languages. Just choosing that language.
Yeah.
You know, if I've lived in 7 countries, which one do I choose?
All of them, obviously.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Where did you go? Where did you go next, Kevin?
After Turkey, I went to Saudi Arabia.
Wow.
Was that madness at the time? Looking back, potentially, because it was during the Second Gulf War.
Oh, yeah.
But from a career perspective, it was a huge stepping stone. I went to Saudi Arabia as head of VM, multi-brand head of VM for the country.
How many brands were you looking after?
I had over 20, so about 23 brands.
So you've gone from single brand in the UK, single brand Turkey, to all of a sudden head of VM managing 20 brands in a new country.
Yeah.
Wow.
Now, thankfully, the new country was English speaking. The Middle East is English speaking. But if you can imagine from a learning curve, you have 23 brands giving their version of best practice. And all that can do is help the individual.
Sure. Yeah. So after Saudi, then what happened? Where did you?
Saudi, I stayed with the same company, but I moved to Kuwait, and I was part of the leadership team for governance in the Middle East. So we looked after, again back to a brand, but 6 countries at the time.
Yeah.
And that role was also my first foray into marketing. So I went in as VM and marketing manager. I expected marketing to be around about 25% of the job and VM 75. It was actually the other way around. Partially because I had brilliant area and country managers for visual merchandising. And partly because we had a lot of promotions. You know, being a big store, we're running promotions 24/7, 365 days of the year. There was always something to think about, something to plan, something to print, something to get permission for.
Yeah.
You know, we had an offer which was our signpost to get the customer to navigate that small department a little bit further. And one of the key tricks of visual merchandising is unconsciously to the customer, we are directing their journey through the store by focal points, by product placement, by pickup lines, by photography, video, digital tools.
Yeah.
I know which way the majority of the customer are going to move around the large store and how they're going to flow through it, because that's how we've created the store. It's not just a random box that people will walk into. There's a science behind it, a lot of science behind it. So it's a marriage of art and science.
Art and science. Yeah.
Which is one of our strap lines now within Reba.
Yeah. Indeed it is, yeah. Well, absolutely fascinating. Did you stay in the Middle East, or did you have shifty feet again and itchy feet, I should say?
I wanted seasons again. Here there's 2 seasons, hot and very hot. Most of the time.
I guess it's
I
about
wanted some scenery and some greenery.
50 degrees where you are today?
Today's, I think it's low 40s.
Low 40s, okay.
Yeah, and that's what we'd say now, you know, low 40s.
just to prove the point. Yeah, it's 25 degrees here in the south of France,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's a huge difference. Okay, so what did you do next
I
then?
went back to Europe. I went to Germany,
Oh, okay, yeah.
and I went to Germany as vice president of global retail for Adidas, major sports brand globally. Part of a new department within the group to create a global retail function. To start making money out of stores, which were originally, a lot of them were originally marketing zones rather than retail financial driven zones. And as a team to narrow the buy, to create a global footprint. I think at the time, one of the comments we used to say that there was only one garment available in every store globally, which was a t-shirt.
Yeah, yeah.
VP of Global, you have the obvious issues of communication and language, multiple time zones, obviously, because it was global. It was Norway to South Africa. It was London to Tokyo to Santiago. Languages, we used to communicate in 5 key languages. That obviously didn't suit everybody. So if we wanted guidelines, bulletins, store operations manuals to be relevant, we had to remove the words. And that was a major exercise to dramatically reduce the amount of words and to create guidelines via illustration. Feedback was everybody loved it, except for the English speakers. The English speakers thought it was too simple. Yeah, the South Americans loved it. Finally, we know what's going on. Finally, we know, we understand. But also because the product is different. So, you know, in sport retail, whilst probably 70%, maybe more, of sportswear is for streetwear, a lot of the store is filled with sportswear kits, training kits. The fashion element is not as fast as fashion in a fashion store. A football kit lasts for 12 months. So in certain parts, it's a lot easier than the fashion world. It's slower, but we still need to drive the sales volume of anybody else.
Yeah.
And we can't give, I've never given strict guidelines. Guidelines are called a guideline because it's a guide. It's not a must do. It's a guide. For example, a lead football kit in Germany may be Bayern Munich. In London, it's Chelsea. In Argentina, it's River Plate. I can't tell the Argentina to put Bayern Munich at the front of the store, and they're not going to do it. We have to give them freedom, but we have to give them a flow, and the flow of how the departments work, football into training, and same with the fashion element. You know, you've got trainers in the fashion element that are 50 years old. You know, the Samba is 50. That it changes its colour every season or every couple of seasons, but relatively easy to sell.
Okay, all right. The challenge career-wise for you was the culture, but not so much the brand nor the sports industry, because the sports industry was more stable than the fashion industry, which you were used to. A fascinating learning, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so if I remember, you went from that sports brand to where as your next risk reward?
I went to
step?
Russia.
To Russia, yeah. Wow.
Back into the fashion world. I was working for, at that time, it probably still is, the largest ready-to-wear men's, women's, kids brand in Russia. Parent company was a sports brand, similar to a Decathlon, style of brand, if people know Decathlon. So yeah, 1,000 stores. Adidas was at the time was 2,500 stores, I think.
And you were responsible for marketing and store design at this point?
No, I worked for this company twice.
Mm-hmm.
So the first time I worked for them, I went in as head of VM.
Mm-hmm.
And at the same time, we launched a new lower price brand. So we created a brand, like an entry level brand for consumers to enter shopping malls. So historically, a lot of garment shopping is done in marketplaces and markets.
Mm-hmm.
So this was to make the consumer feel comfortable stepping inside into an air-conditioned, illuminated environment at a price point that they could afford.
Yeah, fascinating.
Yeah.
And was it successful?
Yeah, it became the fastest growing brand in the country. I mean, that could be quite easy to say. If you've got one store and you open a second, you've increased your portfolio by 100%. But now I think we were doing 60, 70 stores a year. And after another stint in Turkey, I then went back to the same brand in Russia as store concepts director.
Oh, okay.
An interesting dynamic and another direction that visual merchandisers can move into the future, because there are going to be issues in the future with career progress.
Let's come to that in just a minute. Yeah. So from that role, Kevin, you moved to Dubai. Yeah. And in Dubai, where you are now, what do you do? What are you doing now?
I am a project manager for visual merchandise, project director for visual merchandising for Revo Solutions.
Mm-hmm.
So we are a global consultancy, and we have teams around the world. Head office is based in Bangalore in India, as we mentioned at the start of this session. But we have people in Dubai, in the States, South America, Europe, Asia.
Yes, yeah. Terrific. So, I mean, most people listening to this will be in awe of the courage that you have displayed, and the risks that you have taken, and you've amply illustrated those risks, and the growth that you've achieved, from a display temp to a global vice president, and now working as a managing partner in the Rebo organization. Just give me a minute on this risk reward thing. I mean, many people cling to what they know. They stay in their hometown, and that's fine. It suits them, but maybe they're angling for something more, which clearly you were. Just talk to us for a minute about risk reward in that sense.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I knew when I was at school, I knew that I was going to end up in an art-based career, but I didn't know what, and I didn't know how. And I knew I wanted to travel. Even as a 13, 14, 15, 16-year-old, I knew I wanted to travel. And I didn't know how that was going to happen. Certainly didn't expect it to happen through work. If I stayed in the original brand, I knew what the career path was. I even knew where the locations were. There was obvious stepping stones based on region as to how you would move through that brand. And it would have been slow. It would just, for me, the initial period was quick. But then it would have slowed down quite dramatically, based on vacancies appearing or new stores being built. When the opportunity came up to go international, it was actually my boss that was offered the job first. And he didn't want to go international. And he passed it on to me, and I made the inquiries, and that's where we ended up. Was it a risk? Yes, but not a big risk at the time. I was single. You know, I went with a suitcase and I left with a wife and 2 kids, um, I
But you
think a
didn't
lot
look
of,
upon it as a risk. You looked upon it as an
no,
opportunity
it was a challenge. It was a
and a
challenge.
challenge. Yeah.
And it was, for me to become a head of VM, staying where I was would have probably taken another 10
10
years,
years. Yeah. Yeah.
maybe even longer.
Yeah.
You know, there are thousands, if not millions, of retailers out there.
Mm.
Not all of them are looking, but some of them are looking for expertise.
Yeah.
And would I regret it? No,
Clearly not.
not at
No.
all.
Well,
Not at
thanks.
all.
Thanks for
Well
sharing.
traveled.
Thanks for
Um,
sharing that. So let's just move on and say, and you touched on this earlier, but I just wanted to finish the section around your career. How do you think, with the onset of all of these technologies, particularly AI, how do you think that the career of a young 16, 17-year-old display visual person today could project?
well, it's not displayed, it's visual merchandising. Let me
I was
correct.
just
Let me
checking you were
correct you
listening.
there.
Yeah.
Yes, I was listening. um, this is going to be a challenge. It's not just a challenge for VM; it's a challenge for every industry. AI needs to be treated as a teammate, not as a tool, not as a challenge.
Mm.
It needs to be treated as a teammate. AI will never take a physical role. Robots might later. That's a bit further down the line. But the physical role in store is still going to be done by people. So the store guys, in my mind, are safe. The challenge is going to become in head office. So the creation of guidelines, bulletins, newsletters, operations manuals, that will become very much AI driven. Still need to be managed by a human, but there won't be as many humans. The same with the area and regional management roles. We've seen this starting now post-COVID,
Mhm.
whereas people are comfortable having Teams talks and Zoom chats and managing businesses through video and
Yeah.
photography. People are
Mhm.
now comfortable with it.
Mhm.
This will happen more and more. In Rebo, we also have tools to help manage these solutions. Retail Store Manager, for example. So what we now have to devise is what is the stepping stone for store visual merchandisers to either expand their career,
Mhm. Mhm.
be it into marketing, store design, store concepts, into mainstream operations
Mhm.
of retail, which they some do. We need to now be creative. What are those stepping stones? Yes.
Starting in physical retail, potentially stepping out to gain broader retail experience, maybe diversify, but then potentially come back into more creative roles to lead the AI generation process,
Yeah.
if I've understood correctly.
You know, some operational roles they're narrowing, the same as we just talked about the VM.
Mm. Mm.
Operational roles will narrow,
Mm.
but there's a real sense of place now for visual merchandising within the industry.
Yeah. Yeah.
It comes
Well,
right.
let's jump then to the benefits then, because you're touching on uh, the very existence of physical retail depends in some brands, but maybe not in all, on the experience the consumer feels. Yeah, and VM needs to be at the heart of that, and I think that's what you're articulating.
Yeah, so like I said, you don't just open a store and wait for someone to buy something. Those days are long gone. That's the 30s, 40s, and 50s in Western Europe and America.
Mhm.
Those days are long gone. To make a store efficient, you have to have the right product in the right place at the right time in the right place of the store. You have to make the whole store work, not part of it. Visual merchandising helps to lay out that store. Where do we put fast fashion? Where do we put anchor merchandise? How do we get the customer to reach the anchor merchandise, be it halfway through a shop or at the back of a shop or second, third or fourth floor? Visual merchandising is part of this, creates the journey through focal points, lighting techniques, placement of digital, merchandising techniques, product placement on almost a daily basis.
Yeah.
Something will be happening.
What's the risk today of getting this wrong, Kevin? In the past, you were saying earlier that people would visit maybe once a month, once a week, sometimes once a day, but and as in senior visitors, and consumers didn't have the means to communicate their displeasure other than to complain to the store manager or to the customer service desk. What's the risk of getting it wrong now in the world of visual merchandising?
The customer doesn't even have to visit your store now to have an opinion whether you're right or wrong. Social media, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, LinkedIn, somebody can take a photograph and post that image globally. And we saw one a couple of weeks ago where the store was a real mess. It hadn't been recovered and it hadn't been tidied up. It was a store in the States, but those images have gone around the world. As a consumer, why would I go into that store? Maybe it looks like it's a discount retailer, so maybe I'm looking for a bargain and I'll go. But no, it's easy. If someone is displeased with your store or your offer or your size availability or the color options, they don't keep quiet anymore. They'll tell their friends and they'll post it. And
and it takes a lot of hard work to come out of that hole that is created. And in the world of e-commerce, I mean, it's the recommendations on Trustpilot or the number of stars you get. This is really important for e-retailers. It's the same principle, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, well, Kevin, that's brilliant. So maybe we just touch for a few minutes on, you mentioned that you're now working with Rebo and you're driving the visual merchandising division for Rebo. Why would people listening want to use your services today?
Well, hopefully we've advertised that there's not just within me, but the team that we have, there is massive amounts of global experience in multiple retail types, fashion, sport, home, brown goods, white goods, food. We have the full gambit of knowledge. I have based my career on thinking probably outside the box, thinking laterally, questioning, and finding solutions. If I have a question, I go with a solution. Any retailer outside, if you have a question, we'll find a solution. Even if we don't know it today, we'll find it very, very quickly. So we have a vast global team and we can do either the back of house functions, incorporating AI, because Rebo is an AI and has our own bespoke AI tools to help manage stores and create store designs and bulletins and guidelines, etc. We have multilingual capabilities. We are a one-stop shop for visual merchandising around the globe, and size is no option. There's no such thing as a bad question. Only stupid answers, and we don't give stupid answers.
So basically, clients could outsource any of the VM functions to Rebo and find that there would be an expertise which would be surprising perhaps, but also a consistency of execution or consistence of creativity at a very affordable cost. So for businesses that are looking for improvement ratios on their P&L, they should consider Rebo.
Yeah, I mean, if you're an existing brand and you need to make cuts somewhere, or if you're a new brand and you can't invest in the team yet, or you're not sure of your direction as a new brand, we offer a global service at a great price with bespoke AI tools that we use. We can have the teams remote. We can have them based in our office. We can place people in your offices. You're the client.
Right.
You tell us what you would like, and we'll deliver.
You have illustrated so many things. It's a really exciting career that you've had, yeah. And I thought I was
finished.
No, but I thought no, it's not finished. No, it's a good point. You're still a young guy, as am I. But I thought I was a global nomad, but I think you redefine it. I hope for young people who might be listening, who are considering or are already on the path of building a visual merchandising career, I hope that this has been inspiring to help open people's minds as to where they could go next, what they could do next, because you've illustrated everything from shop floor to key design strategy. So thanks very much for your time, Kevin. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Look forward to working with you in the future.
Thank you for the invitation.